Okay, in last class we have solved simple vapor power cycle problems. See, in this class, let us solve the problem on the actual vapor power cycle problem. See, when I take a simple Rankine cycle, what happens is we assume that the process of expansion and compression taking place in the turbine are isentropic. In real case, it is not so. Okay. As you can see, when I take a simple Rankine cycle, see this is the TS diagram, okay, which I have shown. 1, 2, 3, 4s or the simple Rankine cycle in which the process 1 to 2 is isentropic, that is S1 will be equal to S2 here, and S3 will be equal to S4 because the process is isentropic. Okay, but when I take the actual cycle, okay, the process is not isentropic. The meaning of isentropic is there is no heat loss to the surrounding. That's what it shows, right? So, but in actual case, there will be certain amount of the heat loss. Because of that, the process will deviate from the isentropic process. Instead of going from 1 to 2, it might go from 1 to 2 dash. So there is a deviation in the process. Here you can see, here S1 is not equal to S2 dash. Okay, in such case, we come across efficiency. Similarly, in the pump also. Okay, in such case, we come across efficiency, turbine efficiency. When I take turbine efficiency, it is the ratio of actual work done to isentropic work done, or we say ideal work done. So actual work done is H1 minus H2 dash. That is what the work done by the turbine. Okay, as it goes from process 1 to 2 dash divided by isentropic work done means H1 minus H2. Okay, when I take the pump work, it is actual work done is H actual work done on the system. That is what I'm talking about, work done on the system here. Pump work means, okay, so here it will be H4 minus H3. This is smaller, okay, divided by H4 minus H3 dash. See, this is S3 represents isentropic process, okay, isentropic work done. Here H4 minus H3 is smaller. Isentropic pump work is smaller, but actual pump work required will be more because of the pressure loss. Okay, this we need to use in the problem when the efficiency of the turbine work and efficiency of the pump work is given. Okay, so with this, let me start explaining the what is actual Rankine cycle is. Okay, see, usually when I take the ideal Rankine cycle, as I have explained to you now, the actual Rankine cycle consists from process 1 to 2s, 2 to 3, 3 to 4s, and from 4s to 1. That is what the actual process is. But when we take the actual case, what happens? You know, it deviates from the ideal case, which I discussed now. That is the red line which I have shown. It is the ideal case. When I take the actual case, it is the green line over here. So because of the pressure drop in the boiler, instead of coming at 1, the state coming at 1, it will be going at state 1 dash in the turbine. That means the turbine expansion will start at 1 dash instead of 1. And you can see the pressure here, it will be little bit lesser than the pressure which is actually it has to be started. Okay, so that's why there is a pressure drop over here, okay, in the boiler. Say for example, if the pressure is 30 bar which has to enter at the turbine, it might be less than that. It might be 29 bar or 29.5 bar because of the pressure drop taking place in the turbine. If you consider that there is a slight pressure drop, and instead of the state entering at 1, it will be 1 dash to the turbine. Similarly, as I've explained, because of the turbine efficiency, because it's not isentropic, instead of going from 1 to 2s, it might go from 1 dash to 2 dash. Again, here it might not expand fully to the condenser pressure. It will be above the condenser pressure. For example, condenser pressure is zero point 0.1 bar, say. It might not go to the zero point 0.1 bar. It might stop at 0.12 bar itself. It is quite possible, okay, because of the uh, irreversibility of the process, okay. Then 2 to 3 dash, it will condense in the same fashion. Here also, the 3 dash will be little bit above than the 3, okay. So because it follows the condenser, different condenser pressure line, it will be slightly above that, okay. And again 3 dash to 4 4s, instead of going from 3 to 4s, it might go from 3 dash to 4 dash. Here also there is irreversibility which is been shown. That means instead of pumping to 30 bar, that is the boiler pressure which I have told by giving an example, right? So it might pump to 29.5 bar. It is quite possible, okay, because of the loss in the pressure during the pumping, okay. So if we consider that there is efficiency in each of the every component in a turbine, there is efficiency in each of the every component in a turbine. So whenever the efficiency is given, and when it is given, we need to consider basically here the major loss takes place in the turbine, and in most of the cases the turbine efficiency will be given. In such case we need to consider it, whereas the other efficiency is not that much matter, because it is very slight and it is very less, we will not consider it, okay. So with this, let me go to the next slide. See here, when I take the turbine work, the turbine work is given by H1 minus H2, right? Here, if I consider the losses, we need to subtract this losses from the turbine work, okay? So when I apply the steady flow energy equation, the losses comes into picture. Q loss will be coming into picture. So what are these turbine losses? The turbine losses in the turbine are those associated with the frictional effect. Because of the frictional effect, the losses will occur in the turbine, and heat losses to the surrounding. See, this is also, we need to see frictional losses within the turbine taking place, okay, and heat losses taking place to the surrounding. If you consider that, then the turbine work, there is one addition takes place, that is Q loss, okay, that we need to subtract from the turbine work. So that's why the turbine efficiency will be coming into picture. When I say the turbine efficiency here, it is zeta T, which is shown over here. It is the ratio of actual work done. See, there is the turbine work which has been taking place, actual work done, H1 minus H2 divided by ideal work done, H1 minus H2s. H2s represents isentropic process, the vertical line, okay. Sometimes this H2 is also written as H2 dash, which I have shown earlier, okay. H1 minus H2 dash divided by H1 minus H2s, okay. You can write like this also, okay. Next, coming to the pump work, similarly to the pump work also, the losses associated with pump work are similar to those of the turbine, and are primarily due to the irreversibility associated with the fluid friction, okay. So there will be, usually there will be frictional losses, and the heat transfers taking place to the surrounding also. If we consider that the pump work is given as isentropic pump work to the actual pump work. Why I am writing here the isentropic pump work in a denominator is because the isentropic pump work will be less, the actual pump work required will be more. So the efficiency, it will be always less than 1, right? So when I talk about the decimal point, okay, it will be less than 1. So if I talk about that, it is H4s minus H3 divided by H4 minus H3. So with this, I will show you one a simple problem how to solve when efficiency is given, okay. So you need to note, we are going to solve the problem in the same fashion as we did for this simple Rankine cycle. The only thing is here, we are going to find out what is the value of H2 dash over here. H2 dash value now find out ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, okay. See, when I take the problem, it is given as a 40-watt steam power plant, a 40-watt steam power plant, okay, operates at a boiler pressure of 4 megapascal and condenser pressure of 10 kilopascal. The steam leaves the boiler and enters the steam turbine at 400 degrees Celsius. The isentropic efficiency of the steam turbine is 85%. He has given the efficiency here. You need to note here. This is what I'm talking. He has given the efficiency of the turbine. That means the process of the 1 to 2 is not isentropic process. It is deviates from the isentropic process. Okay, we need to consider this. He is asking determine the cycle efficiency, the quality of the exhaust steam from the turbine, the flow rate in kgs per second. So he is asking the cycle efficiency, eta he is asking, the quality of the exhaust steam from the turbine, that is X2 he is asking. The steam flow rate, he is asking the steam flow rate per kg hour, he is asking per hour, okay? And he's asking you to consider the pump work, okay? So with this, if I draw the TS diagram, you can see this is the vapor dome. Vertical line it is temperature, horizontal line it is entropy. So this is the boiler pressure line. You can see this is the boiler pressure line, and this is the condenser pressure line. This process is pump work. This is turbine work. If it is isentropic, the turbine work will be from 1 to 2s. Simply you can write 1 to 2 also, no problem. 1 to 2 dash is the actual isentropic process, because here the turbine efficiency is given as 0.85. The actual process is from 1 to 2 dash. 2 dash to 3 dash it is condensation process. Condensation process. 3 to 4 is the pump work. 3 to 4 is the pump work. 4 to 1 is the heat addition. Okay, but here I have not written an non-isentropic process for the pump, because he has not given efficiency for the pump. He has given only efficiency for the turbine. So 1 to 2 dash it is having the efficiency. Turbine is only having the efficiency. Okay, now here what is the condition of the steam we need to determine. See, before drawing this diagram itself, we need to determine what is the condition of the steam, whether it is superheated state or whether it is dry saturated state or saturated state. We need to determine that first one. Okay, so here the state of the steam given is superheated state. As we can see, the boiler pressure given here it is 4 megapascal. See, mega means 10 to the power of 6. Okay, when I take pascal, it is 10 to the power of 5. Pascal is 1 bar, right? So it will be 40 into 10 to the power of 5 pascal. If I write this 4 megapascal, it will be 40 into 10 to the power of 5 pascal. So it will be 40 bar. When I take condenser pressure given here, it is 10 kilopascal. Condenser pressure is 10 kilopascal, means 10 into 10 to the power of 3 pascal. If I write it in 10 to the power of 5 terms, it will be 0.1 into 10 to the power of 5 pascal. So it will be 0.1 bar. Okay, like this you need to convert it. Okay, but here when I check the steam table at 40 bar, Tsat given is 250 degrees Celsius. That means at 40 bar pressure, see this is a 40 bar pressure line, right? Tsat means this temperature has given. On this line, what is the temperature has given? Has given it is 250 degree Celsius. Okay, I will show you from where to look into this value from the steam table. So I will go to the pressure based table. Say I think we have to go to which table? A1 table, because it's a pressure based table. From A1 table here at 40 bar. See page number level till 1.8 bar you are having. From page number 12 I am having till 45 bar, right? At 45 bar, what is T-sat? This is the value of the T-sat. You can see this is the T-sat. The first column is the T-sat value given. Here the T-sat value given is 250.33, right? 250.33 given. So I will go back to the slide. Okay. See, saturated temperature at 40 bar given is 250. That means the temperature here, he says it is 400 degrees Celsius entering temperature to the turbine. That means it is more than 250 degrees Celsius. That means it is understood that it is in superheated state. So whenever the data given like 40 bar and 400 degrees Celsius, it is understood it is superheated state. If you want to verify whether it is in superheated state, you can go for steam table and check the value of Tsat. If it is more than that, it is understood that it is in superheated state. Likewise, you can also find out the state of the steam, whether it is superheated or dry state. Okay, here the state is superheated state. So we need to look into which table here? We need to look into A3 table. Okay, so I will go for the superheated steam table now. So when I go for superheated steam table A3, so you need to go for A3 table. This is the A2 table. So this is your A3 table. So what is the pressure given? Pressure given is 40 bar. So I will go for the 40 bar. Here you can see page number 19 at 40 bar. And what is the temperature given? See here the temperature starts from 250, 300 like that, right? Here you can see the temperature is 400. So you need to look the value for 440 bar. See, this is 40 bar and this is 400. These values you need to note. See, these values given are V, H and S. V is specific volume, H is specific enthalpy, S is specific entropy. So we need to note these values. Okay. So for our calculation we need H1 and S1. Okay, so here H1 will be 3215.7 and S1 will be 6.7733. Okay, okay, so with this we will be noting down what is the H1 and S1. It is given in page number 90. Okay, next we will first calculate what is x2 by considering this process 1 to 2. See, we are going to solve the problem in the same manner as we did in the simple Rankine cycle. Till now the procedure is same as we did in the simple Rankine cycle. Okay, here also you can see S1 is equal to S2 here. See, I have written S is because it is isentropic process. Okay, don't get confused. Okay, 1 to 2 is isentropic process. So here S1 will be equal to S2. So I can strike off this S2 and I can write S1. Here this is equal to SF plus X2 plus SFG. Why I'm writing this formula is because the state here it is wet state. Okay. At 0.1 bar, I need to take the values from page number 11. So I will go to the page number 11. At point 1 bar, what are the values given? We need to note for SF and SFG. See, this is the page number level, point 1 bar. These are the values of SF and SFG. These values, okay, you can see from the top. These are SF and SFG. You note these values. Just a second. Okay, these values you note. 6.77 is the SF and SFG is 7.5018. Okay, these values you need to note. Okay, S1 will be equal to S2 and this is the value of S1 we are having. So SF is 0.6493. Okay, from this you can calculate what is the quality at X2. See here, I'm going to calculate the quality at this X2, this point. I'm not talking about this point. Okay, I have calculated the dryness fraction at this point. Okay, once you calculate X2, if I want to find the enthalpy, we are going to use the formula SF plus X2 into SFG. See, till now the procedure is same as we did in the simple Rankine cycle. Note. Okay, so again at point 1 bar, it is from the same table, you get the value of HF and HFG. Okay, I will just show you these values where we are getting. See at point 1 bar, what is the values we are having. This is HF value and this is HFG value. These two values you need to note. Okay, and substitute, you will be getting what is H2. So we have calculated H1. What is H2 we have calculated, but for us we require H2 dash. For that we will use the turbine efficiency formula, that is actual work done divided by idle work done. Actual work done is H1 minus H2 dash. Idle work done is H1 minus H2. Yes. Here the turbine efficiency given. What is the turbine efficiency given? It is 85%. You use 0.85. H1 we know this value. H2, yes, that is H2 we know. Okay, this value, H2 yes is this value. Okay, to substitute, you will be getting what is H2 dash, that is 2305 kilojoules per kg. Okay, next, after finding H2 dash, we will be finding what is X2 dash, that is dryness fraction. We need to find the dryness fraction here. See, that is, here the dryness fraction at X2 is different and X2 dash is different because the process is deviated from the isentropic process. So that's why we need to find the X2 dash also. Okay, so next, here HF and HFG we will be taking at the same pressure line because the same pressure line follows at that point. Okay, from that, when I calculate X2 dash, I'll be getting 0.883. Okay, then coming to the H3, you know how to calculate the H3. It is the same fashion, that is HF part 0.1 bar. In the simple Rankine cycle problem also it is the same, right? So in the same manner you calculate what is H3. Next you need to find pump work. In the same manner as you have calculated in the simple Rankine cycle, here also the procedure is same. You calculate the pump work. Okay, that is specific volume at 3 into difference in pressure, boiler pressure minus condenser pressure. Here boiler pressure is 40 and condenser pressure is 0.1 bar into 10 to the power of 5. If you do, you will be getting in joules per kg. If you want in kilojoules per kg, multiplied by 100. Okay, so this is the pump work we have got, 4.03 kilojoules per kg. Then I will use this formula, that is H4 minus H3, to calculate H4. Calculate the H4. We have got 195.83 kilojoules per kg. Next, we need to find heat supplied. See, he is asking you eta. Eta means net work done divided by heat supplied. We have calculated the pump work now. Now we need to calculate what is heat supplied and turbine work to find out the eta. So heat supplied is H1 minus H4. So we have got the values. To substitute that, we have found out that H1 minus H4. So we got Q1, that is 3019.87 kilojoules per kg. Next, turbine work. Here you need to note the turbine work is not H1 minus H2. It is H1 minus H2 dash. It is the actual turbine work. Okay. So the turbine work we are getting here, it is 3215.7 minus 2305. So turbine work will be getting as 910.7 kilojoules per kg. Okay. Next, so we have found out what is turbine work, pump work, find out the net work done. Net work done is 906.67. Then Rankine cycle efficiency, that is what is asking. Net work done divided by heat supplied. So we got Rankine cycle efficiency as 0.3, that is 30%. Okay. And he's asking you what is the steam flow rate, that is mass flow rate. We know from the basic, power is equal to mass into work done, right? So we can use that expression. So mass flow rate is power by net work. So when you do that, you will be getting here, you note in the data he has given the power, that is 40 megapascal he has given. You need to convert it into 40 not sorry 40 megawatts he has given. You need to convert into 40 kilowatts. So you need to multiply this by 1000 in order to convert it into kilowatts, because the denominator is in kilojoules. That is the reason. Okay. So from this you'll be getting the mass flow rate has 44.117 kgs per second. But in the data, he has asked you to find it in hours. So you need to multiply that by 360 to find it in hours. Okay. So with this, your problem number 1 is over. At this point, I would like to show how to get the values using Mollier chart. This is very interesting. See, in Mollier chart, we'll be getting the values directly. See, when I take the Mollier chart, it is nothing but it is a HS diagram. See, first let me show the HS diagram for your reference. So when I take the HS diagram, on the vertical side we are having H, enthalpy, S is entropy. This is how the vapor dome of the HS diagram is. These are the pressure lines. If I show to the two pressure lines, this is the boiler pressure line and this is the condenser pressure line, and the temperature follows like this. See, when I take the temperature line, you'll be having like this. Okay, here like this it will follow. Okay. So the same thing I will show it on the Mollier chart. So Mollier chart is nothing but it is a HS diagram. Okay. So when I show the Mollier chart here, see, this is a HS diagram. For your reference, I will show this horizontal line. I hope you can see this is specific enthalpy. H, you can see on the vertical it is specific enthalpy, horizontal it is specific entropy. Yes, this is nothing but HS diagram. Okay. So first let me explain the various lines associated with it. So you can see the first line here, it is a saturated vapor line. The dark line which is shown over here, This line is a saturated vapor line. Once again, I will tell you this is a saturated vapor line. Okay, and we follow the pressure lines here. Okay, you can see here we are having the values like 0 0.1, 1.5, 2, 2.53. These are all the pressure lines. You can see these are all the pressure lines. 0 0.3, 0 0.4, 0 0.5, 0 0.6. These are all the pressure lines. Okay, and this is the temperature line. 150, 200. You can see here 250, 300. So I will just show it by zooming. See 150, 200, 250, 300. These are all the temperature line. And the line which are parallel to this saturated vapor line over here, these are all the dryness fraction line. Here you can see we are having 0.95, 0.9, 0.85. These are all the dryness fraction line. And these lines you can see it goes parallel to the saturated line. Okay, saturated vapor line. Okay, so you need to note there are three main important lines which you need to concentrate. One is the pressure line, as you can see here, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. These are all the pressure lines. It flows like this. Okay, and temperature line. Okay, it goes like this. Okay, and dryness fraction line. These three lines you need to note. Okay, so now I will show you how to locate this on the Mollier diagram. The process which is shown, that is 40 bar and 400 degrees Celsius. So here the state one given as the value has 40 bar and 400 degrees Celsius. How to locate that on the Mollier chart? Okay, so here I will see where is the 40 bar line, pressure line first. Okay, you can see these are all the pressure lines, 20, 25, 30, 40. So I am having a 40 bar pressure line over here. I will go on the 40 bar pressure line over here in the same manner till I get the 400 degrees Celsius temperature line. See here it is shown as 4000. It is actually printing mistake. It is 400 degree. Okay. So I will go on the same pressure line, 40 bar line, till I meet with the 400 degrees Celsius temperature line. So this is the state one. Okay, and the process 1 to 2 is isentropic. So I will draw a vertical line. So this line has to be vertical, and the isentropic expansion happens till the condenser pressure reaches zero point 0.1 bar. That is, you have to draw a vertical line till the condenser pressure is 0.1 bar, that is state 2, till the pressure is 0.1 bar. You can see here we are having the pressure line 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. You need to draw a straight line till the 0.1 bar pressure line. You can see this is a 0.1 bar pressure line, and you need to note the value. Okay, so when we note the value over here, we will be getting an round off value. We will not be getting the exact value. See here H1, when I read on the chart,